Hey there, you're listening to the Purple Stories podcast with Jeff and Richeen.
All right. What's up, Richeen?
What's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up, world? What's up, world? Yeah, we've been a little bit busy.
Very busy.
We've been a little bit busy. We were about 2 months behind on this podcast, but it's for good reasons, right? It's been for good reasons. Busy is the thing. But what's been going on with in the world has been a key thing, and it's been a blessing for our business. And that's kind of like, why we're on this podcast, episode 4. And that's what we want to talk about. We're actually going to start with the whole music vibes a little bit last because what's really going on is what we want to talk about in the beginning. So
yeah, the last 2 years have been really heavy here in America, and it seems to get worse and worse and crazier. And yes, we've been blessed with the projects we've gotten a chance to work on with our business, so that's been amazing. But all of the things that we've been working on has tied into the craziness that's going on to the world. So we're making a change, but also having to sit with how the world is rewinding back to terrible times.
Yeah. And, I think, what's going on in the world, the first thing we want to talk about is voting rights, right? Voting rights. And when we say that we've been busy, we had the blessed opportunity to work with Michelle Obama's When We All Vote organization. Shout out to Stephanie Young, the executive director there. Worked a lot with her and her team. And it's been a blessing just basically learning how they're changing the culture of voting. And that was my education of trying to understand what does that mean. And, working with them educated me on that. The way that you reach different people to basically say that, why do I care about voting? It doesn't really affect me. I just basically always just see how I can't get a step up in life.
Yeah, so it does affect you.
Yeah. So it affects people so much, but they really don't know it until it comes down to a situation. So when we all vote, working with them to basically just build up their promotional campaign for their summit in Los Angeles. That was just an impactful educational time frame and stuff. You want to talk about that because you had a lot of great time out there, with people.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. I was really nervous every event that I go to because I'm mainly the background. I'm the comms person, communications person. And so I get us ready to, really get Jeff and the team ready to go to events and kind of put things together. But so when it comes to me actually attending the event, since I'm not a photographer or videographer, sometimes I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know, what am I going to be doing here? And I do handle our social media. So I am like the person crouched down with the iPhone 13, rolling around and getting angles and getting the behind the scenes shots. Yeah. So I do that, but I'm still always kind of nervous of the role that I'll play or will I be in the way? But this event was great. We got an opportunity to meet with athletes and entertainers and civic leaders who are, who came together to just talk about how different industries play a role in voting rights in America. Mm-hmm. And, you wouldn't think that, right? What does an entertainer have to do with voting rights? What does, this influencer have to do? But, all of our industries, if we work together, we can make a change. And that's kind of why they're changing the culture around voting. And so we got to meet Amanda Seales. Oh my gosh, so amazing. Jeannie Mai, so nice. She loved our I Am shirts, which was crazy. Oh, yeah. We're on the red carpet and she's like, what are you wearing? What shirt is that? I'm like, this old t-shirt. And she really liked our I Am shirts pretty much have positive words on them. And so you kind of say, you're supposed to look in the mirror and say, I am, and then just pick a random word that's on the shirt. I am amazing. I'm great. I am unique. And it's just a mood booster and it's just a reminder of how special you are. So that was cool that she even noticed it and wanted to learn more about it. Who else did we meet? There were some athletes in there. Jeff's like, oh, look at it. I didn't know who, I'm sorry, I didn't know who some of the athletes were because I don't really watch sports, but he was excited. I think it was Chris Paul.
Yeah, Chris Paul. We
And
had
then
members of the WNBA that was there.
Magic Johnson.
Yeah,
That was so cool. Now I knew that face, of course.
yeah. I mean, basically, like you get welcome to LA through Magic Johnson. That's what the event, the culture of democracy summit. The Magic Johnson was the one that got the motivation and the event started, and that was fun to see and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, voting rights is just something that we are big on, and we educate, like I said, we educate our kids now when we learn at these events and stuff like that on key ways, because they said it. Michelle Obama and a lot of people that were there said it. It was like the people that make the impact on social media, they're the ones that's going to have the power to get more people of color, to get people that don't care about voting to the polls, and to educate them how much it's not just the presidency, but it's basically midterm elections, and the small voting that's needed per county, per state, to really just lead up to who is that key
Who makes those
people.
final decisions and
Yeah.
at the highest point. So yeah, I think even being young, I used to think I just need to vote for the president. Like I need to vote for the right president.
See?
I didn't think of the other names that are on the ballot. This is when I was first started voting, 18 or whatever. And so I never did research on the other names on the ballot. Maybe I would look to see if they were Democrat or Republic to kind of give me a hint. But you really do have to do research, whether they're Democrat or Republican. You have to do research on what they're fighting for, what their policies are, or what they believe in, or what what changes they plan to make when they do get in office. So it's not just the president. There's other roles that you need to vote smart on.
Yeah. And, another thing of just, like I said, when we do photo and video service, especially the video service, I'm capturing Michelle Obama, I'm able to hear her speech, right? Because I'm there already like inspired by capturing it. But one of the things that she said in her speech was, to companies, are you going to give your employees the day off for, going to vote? And think about how big that is as a corporation or a company and stuff like that. If you start taking that seriously, if somebody working at McDonald's, somebody's working at, jobs that are just very hard, right? Like, but if these companies basically start thinking about, okay, you know what, this is a key day, and we want our employees to be out there so their rights can be heard through voting. And so that was something that I learned. I was like, wow. That's a definitely a new creative way to change the culture by saying companies to basically come together to just say, okay, how can we make an impact for voting and educate? Because I know in the workplace and normal workplace, you don't want to talk politics, right? But like if it's affecting your day-to-day life, and now people are seeing everything. It can't be unseen. You can't ignore what's going on. I don't care who you are. You can't ignore what's going on, and that was just a key factor. That I my takeaway from that amazing event that When We All Vote had. But yeah, I mean, like I said, to really continue on. We've been busy in a while podcast.
But really quick before we move on, we definitely have to direct them to where to go if you want more information about When We All Vote. Go to whenweallvote.org. They are protecting democracy. They are fighting voter suppression. They are ensuring every American has equal access to the ballot box. So if you want to help, donate, or just learn more and how you can, how they can benefit you and your neighborhood, then visit the website.
Yeah. Thank you for that. always keeping me in check. But the next part, as far as like what's going on in the world, is the thing why I'm wearing this pin right now. But women's rights.
It's all twisted up.
It's all twisted up.
You might have to say they may not see you. So stand with Black women. It is a Planned Parenthood pin.
Yeah, stand with black women. I forgot that the audio aspect. They're not gonna be able to see it, but and that was another event that we did a lot of planning with Planned Parenthood. We've been working with Planned Parenthood for about 6 years now. They've been one of our key clients. and we stand with Planned Parenthood. I think everybody that knows me, that knows Purple People Media, knows that that's a definite stance that we are, because we want to empower and basically give people the decision to control their own bodies and not put it in the hands of a man, or people that basically
or
just
anyone else.
yeah.
It
Well,
should be
true that.
your
Yeah.
decision.
True that. We've been working with Planned Parenthood, and their latest event was Cocktails for a Cause, and it's efforts to basically raise money and really just bring the key people that's going to help them in their fight. Even though things change, and we saw recently of the Supreme Court's verdict, which has got the world in a storm right now. But I'm gonna stop speaking because I want to hear your side on this, because I think it's important from a women's perspective.
I guess it was rumored for a little while that this might happen, and I think everyone was kind of hopeful that they wouldn't be crazy enough to overturn Roe v. Wade. Like that can't be, but they did, and it's just crazy that this group of mainly men have the audacity to make this sort of a decision about women's bodies, to tell women whether or not or how they can, conduct their reproductive organs. Like it's just maddening, because women don't just run around and get pregnant on their own. Like it's not like something we just do on our own. And so there are instances where women are raped. There's instances where women go through a miscarriage where they need to have a miscarriage. I mean, I'm sorry, where they need to have an abortion, which is called a DNC, in order to get the fetus from out of their body. That could be illegal. That's crazy. Like, it's just, there's so many instances, incest. I mean, there's so many reasons why a woman might need an abortion. And for all those reasons, it don't even matter. It's none of your business, and it should be her decision. I mean, they put so much weight on unborn babies. I understand there are a lot of women that struggle to have children. I get that aspect of it, but the children that are here are not protected. The children that are here are being gunned down at school. Yeah. We have people gunned down in grocery stores. Like the humans that are breathing here right now are not protected. I mean, if you're going to, overturn Roe v. Wade, we should have universal health care. There should be mental health services should be free. Like there's so many things that need to happen in order to protect these lives that you want these women to forcefully have. But that doesn't exist. Yeah. So why? We know why, and I'm not going to even discuss it on this podcast, but there's so many rumors of why they want this to happen, and it's just maddening. Yeah,
it's maddening, and basically us, right? We can look at this situation. We already had kids, right? So why fight? We're done. We're good. But it's the I call it the handhold effect, right? Because you're gonna hold hand with somebody that's gonna hold hand with somebody else and stuff like that, and you're gonna start caring about that person that's holding the hand and stuff like that, and eventually it's gonna reach somebody in your family. Someone or some family or friends or something from generations
they said
to
1 in
come.
4 women have had an abortion. They don't say the reasons why, but like I listed some of those reasons, someone that has had an abortion, and if you talk to them and you find out why, there are a plethora of reasons, and you can't regulate what someone else is doing with their body. It's just
it's a messed up way, because tough. Every decision that we make has a consequence, right? Let's think about the level of violence that or that might go up from this. And people don't think about that, right? But the people that really just want to do women wrong, and they want to breed the world, and they don't care if they go to jail. They know
or die.
They know that the woman can't have an abortion. I really think about that, and that puts a fear for me when I think about my daughters. And
there are literally men that will kill a woman for being pregnant. We've seen Dateline, where the woman is pregnant and men murdered her just for being pregnant. I mean, imagine if she was able to make the decision to have an abortion, maybe she would still be here, right? So why would you take that option away?
Yeah. Yeah. So we could not start this podcast off of just trying to be all happy and stuff, because it was just like, we've been busy and we've been in the mix in the community trying to just, provide the media services and stuff like that to just make sure that, like, we're giving our best abilities to push the cause out there, to push this education of, like, what matters and stuff for just equal rights and stuff like that,
because it's gonna trickle down. Everyone's talking about how, well, not everyone, but I guess Clarence Thomas came out and said there's other things he would like overturned, and so it's just going to get crazier and worse from here. And it's just terrible. But we just gotta vote. I guess that's our only option. It sucks because
it starts with the voting, and it starts with just having that conversation. Don't ignore it with people. Like, if you're making good money and stuff like that, and you living in a situation where it doesn't affect you, you don't have to always have a conversation, but you can take action. You can take action by, basically donating to different causes that's fighting. And honestly, if you're on the side where you agree with, women not having abortion, like, just stay that way. Stay that way. But, like, don't, I don't know. It's a hard thing for me to basically just say, like, the aspects of you keep wanting to push this down. You can
feel that. You can feel it any way you want. You can feel any way you want. If you do not agree with abortion, you should not have an abortion.
Yeah.
You should not have an abortion. Yeah, but you cannot tell someone else what they should and should not be doing. Just focus on you. And if you disagree with it, don't do it. Don't condone it around your body and in your body. But you can't tell someone else what to do. Come on.
Yeah, so that was it, and I think that this 16 minutes has been a little bit heated, but it's been heavy. Yeah, but
the world is heavy. We're gonna turn off these mics. We're gonna turn off this video feed, and we're gonna be in reality. So we can't sugarcoat it and can't pretend it's rainbows and unicorns over here.
Can't, because we're parents and we got two girls that we want to make sure, and we've had to have this conversation. Like 2 days ago when what's today? Sunday. Like, it hit me, when you get the decision and stuff like that, it's in disbelief. And then when I got home and then see their faces, my daughters, right? And then I get frustrated in a gradual manner. And then basically, like, I started thinking about, I was like, Jay, let's go for a walk. Cause I was like, I just wanted to talk to her, but gradually just educate, like, what happened. And then basically, like, just, try to tell her from my perspective. It was just like, just being a father and stuff like that. I might say, like, man, I want you to, get good grades. I want you to do that. But, like, I told her, I don't want to control your life. I don't want to control your life. And that's what people are trying to do, where, they want to put you on a level where you're a woman and stuff like that, and you're on a level playing field where they're saying, oh no, your body, oh no, you can go to jail, right, for something that is just in a situation we can't even think about. We can't, people get pregnant and they're thinking, like, okay, they just want to go get an abortion. That's it. But, like, there's, like you said, those manners of, like, not having a heartbeat, and and there's no other means, and that's like service.
If you have a miscarriage and your body doesn't naturally miscarriage, like when I had a miscarriage, my body naturally miscarriage. Like, that means the body kind of just, it's kind of like hard to say, but, like, the body kind of disposes of the unborn fetus. So if your body doesn't do that, you have to get an DNC, which is essentially an abortion. Like, so you're telling me that, and you can't leave that in your body. You will die if you leave that in your body. So that's illegal. That's just, so you don't care about life, because then that woman will die.
Yeah.
Or she has to pay a bunch of money to go several states away in order to have this procedure done, this procedure that needs to be done rather quickly. It's not like something that could wait months and months, and maybe she can't afford to travel to this place. And it's not, I don't even think it's free. Like, I've never had a DNC necessarily, but it's not free because medical care in America is not free. So it's just a lot of factors that go into it. And so the women that are going to be mostly affected by this are women that don't make a lot of money, or that live in states where this is going to be illegal, and so now they have to travel. And kudos to the companies that have already said that their employees, that they will cover their employees' costs if they have to travel across state lines in order to get this done. But a lot of people, abortions are still going to happen, and it's just going to be a matter of how, and it's not going to be good.
So we can this is going to be a 17,000 hour conversation, and it will be as our life goes on. But we're gonna I don't know the correct word to say stop. We're not gonna stop talking about it, but we're gonna try to move on to more of like
something lighter.
Something a little bit more positive, and educational from our end, right? So the thing about us, especially me, is this business, Per People Media, was kind of built off of hobby. And that's the kind of like the next part of this conversation is hobby to entrepreneurship.
Well, let's get real about your hobby. So your hobby, you're really good at your hobby. You're always taking pictures. Every event we would go to, Jeff would have his camera, and he's just working for free. Like every birthday party, whatever, barbecue, he's taking pictures of everyone at the event. And I felt like you did it a little bit because not only because you love photography, but also like it kept you busy during the party too. You're like interactive and like moving around. But then it came to a point where I was like, you need to start charging people, because I don't even get to hang with you at these events because you're so busy taking pictures and you're editing them and like giving quality photos. And so that's I kind of put that in your ear, like you shouldn't be charging for your creativity and for your mind. And for your time.
That's a good point. The hobby aspect was I'm big into historical content, and it was hard for me to like you should really see how I leave a house, especially when I'm not hired to go to an event, a wedding or something. I'm like struggling. Should I take my camera on that? Should I take my camera on that? Should I take my camera on that?
And I always say no. If you're not getting paid, no. Maybe back in the day, but now
that's
what
you're not getting paid. Back in the day, like
you gotta relax.
The hobby state, it was like I'm always gonna have my camera, because I've said this many times. It was a conversation starter. Like it was hard for me to stand around at places and like I'm just looking around and so I feel like I'm gonna knock over a table. You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, okay, you knocked over the table. Hi, how you doing? I'm Jeff. Like, what the heck? That's not a proper way to start a conversation.
Although I will say really quickly, when we were in LA and we were at the Culture of Democracy Summit. The summit was over.
Oh yeah.
And they were gonna have an after party, and we had already been there like for 8 hours or something. Like I was tired, feet were hurting. Even though I was wearing sneakers, my feet were hurting. That's how long we were standing. And you were like, well, let's just go to the after party for like 30 minutes.
I was actually going to chill.
I'm like, oh, okay, fine. And then you're like walking along with your little cell phone. I'm like, where's your camera at? You're like, I'm just going to relax. I was like, nah.
Yeah.
We saw too many very important people in this event. I feel like maybe you should have your camera just in case. You know, you never know who will be at this after party. And it was great that you brought it, because we were in line getting a drink and Jeff tapped me on the shoulder. I'm like, what do you want? I look back. He's like, look. I'm like, and like it was like Janelle Monáe.
Yeah.
I gasped. It was so embarrassing. It was actually really embarrassing because I looked at her. I was like, oh, and she was like, what the hell? Like, clearly she's not from LA, because like I obviously don't see celebrities in my face that often. So for some reason, seeing her, I was just like, oh my gosh, she's like right next to me.
Yeah.
So it was good that you brought your camera, because then, you know, you took pictures of Janelle and
Stephanie and her team.
Yeah, the Civic Nation, some of the people from Civic Nation, and when we all vote, and then Jadena.
Yeah. But
and you were the only photographer. All the photographers went home.
Yep.
All the photographers were like, we're done.
That's what I was going to bring up. Like, basically, like, you know, when I took the photo of Janelle Monáe and the Civic Nation team, Stephanie Young and her team, basically, like, one of the team members, they were walking away, was like, thank you. And that moment right there, that was like, that's why I do this. That's why I do this and stuff like that, because historical content, right? It ain't about me giving them money. It's about me giving that historical content that they took a photo with Janelle Monáe or took a photo in this mix of this impactful event, that they can have and show their future, whatever their future is and stuff like that. And that was the hobby. That was the hobby of getting as much people historical content and stuff like that they can utilize. But the way that we've transferred that into entrepreneurship, and that's the other thing that's been keeping us busy, the amount of requests and stuff that's coming on. We're writing so many contracts, and we're actually hiring a communications person to help Richeen now. But like it's that entrepreneurship aspect of turning this into a business. And I've done many ventures before, and though it was always let's start by writing a business plan, let's put it all together and all that stuff. And I don't know my 5-year plan. I don't. I'm gonna be honest, I don't. For Purple People Media or anything that I'm doing, I don't know my 5-year plan. The way that we've grown is over the years and stuff like that, I said that I was just gonna do weddings. I said I wasn't gonna do any video. Right? But as time went on, I basically just started seeing as an assignment that I was passionate about came up.
Well, first, let's be honest. You said you didn't want to do weddings. You were like, I'm just gonna do headshots and events. I'm like, you want to do weddings? What, like, that's where the big bucks are at. And then I guess it evolved. Like, what?
It's really evolved and stuff like that. We did a lot of family photography in the beginning and stuff like that. But through time and kind of like learning, it's more adapting into that. And that was the other thing that I had written down is, what is creativity to us?
Well, really quick before you move into I do want to hear that too, but for those out there that just are at that hobby level,
okay,
they're still at that hobby level,
okay,
and they're just trying to figure out, like you said, write a business plan. Okay, they've written their business plan. They have a name. Maybe they've done a logo. But like, how do you get to be a business? Like, I don't know that. I don't even know that aspect. Like, how do you get your LLC? Like, what are the types of things you should do legally to like solidify your business? And should you get a website? Should you just rely on Instagram? Like, can you share that?
Well, yeah, like trial by fire. I would basically say, but like, my background is graphic design, photography, videography, game development, game design, all that stuff, right? So, I've been always training on a computer, and taking YouTube has been my university for a lot of years. But establishing an LLC, we went through LegalZoom. It's not a ideal. It costs a little bit, as far as probably I think $300 and stuff, where you can do that, or you can actually go to your state local office and do the whole process, and which would probably be like $15 or $20, probably like that, if you just do all the paperwork. But establishing your LLC, puts you in a category where you're not, your name is not the one being blamed for all of the services that you're providing. And the whole aspect of you're represented when you start an LLC. They put you with a registered agent that helps you to fight for any cases where a company is basically coming to basically try to say that they're going to sue you for trademark infringement or any key things and stuff like that. So we've slowly understood and got educated in that process. And actually, this is a little bit ahead of time, but we're having a future podcast where we're really getting into depth about business insurance. Business insurance, we've learned so much about it, and we're going to actually bring on somebody that we work with, that has gotten us so gratefully prepared for big corporations, right? Like we're doing an event with Michelle Obama. Secret Service don't play, right? Secret Service don't play. So for these type of big organizations and stuff like that, we're sending our certificate of insurance to just let them know our staff, our people are covered. so that they know that we're legit as far as like not trying to be there, burn the whole place down or anything like that and stuff. And so, but we'll go into more detail of like the establishing a business and stuff like that a little bit later. But the LLC, we live by that as far as a small business. And just putting that there as far as our W-9 that we send out to organizations to just get them on get us on the books. And I know you can talk about onboarding and offboarding, but like the whole net 30 and net 60 and not getting paid the first day of the assignments with some organizations and having to wait 30 days, right, or on being onboarded to be there. And the other thing, actually a good point, is for a long time I did not believe in a business checking account, right? Like I was like, why do I need to have a business checking account or whatever? Like they had your specific LLC. And it was, after a couple of times working with some organizations, that it got with two organizations that specifically wanted to write checks to Purple People Media LLC. I was used to people just paying right?
Yeah.
Well, then
I mean, in the beginning, yeah, you're just like,
yeah,
whatever, Venmo, Cash App,
yeah,
PayPal. But when you have a legit business,
yeah. So,
and you're working with another you're working with a large corporation, and some are old school and they want to pay by check and they want to pay the business
yes, they
by
were paying
check.
by
They do
check.
not want to pay necessarily a
And
person.
oh my goodness.
I will say, I was just looking at the computer. There are law firms that do help entrepreneurs through trademark, business registration, and contract services. So if it's just something you like, I just can't figure it out on my own, I'm not really sure, just Google different lawyers that support creative entrepreneurs.
Yeah. That's
and there's a lot in everywhere. I mean, but there's also a lot in the DC area.
Yeah. So, but the next part I was talking about, kind of like a unique way, or what is creativity to us and stuff, is, like I said, it's kind of like just learning and adapting based on the requests you get in. And like I said, we're multimedia, so the way that we get requests in, and the way that we've kind of built it, is that we don't know what type of requests are coming in at what location. So we have to be ready with our gear, or graphic services, or the way that we basically write contracts, of kind of like evaluating the request and coming up with basically like how can we satisfy this, because Purple People Media is basically all about adapting to different types of organizations. It could be healthcare one day. It could be, a sports team, a football team that needs photography services or video services. And then, one of our biggest areas is basically like people that's trying to make change for different types of big topics like voting rights and women's rights. So it's that type of thing where what we call creativity. Creativity to us is basically like, being ready to adapt. We really, when we do workshops with our team and stuff like that, we're really just understanding our gear and really just getting ready for any type of situations. And, one biggest thing that we work with our team is lighting. Always being able to be ready with, we don't know if a location is going to have a black ceiling, and that's the worst thing to a photographer.
Is that because the light can't bounce anywhere?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. I was just guessing.
Yes, it is. And it's the worst thing ever when it's a dark environment, and they want you to provide exceptional photography services. But it's always a hard thing where it's like trying to learn where you can actually bounce the light correctly. And that's been one of the biggest challenge. And we do a lot of like, training and really just learning about, flash photography. Like you can study flash photography in one way and then go to a specific location that you wasn't actually training at, and it can go haywire real quick. So it's one of those things where we just basically just really take that, into consideration and really want to focus a lot with, that part of creativity and just being able to adapt. But I think that that's my key words that I'm saying, or kind of telling everybody as far as like hobby to entrepreneurship and what is creativity is being able to adapt, for your business, because writing that business plan, yeah, like you're gonna write that business plan, but the amount of stuff that's gonna change and personalities that you meet, like you have to be able to communicate, like you said, to a lawyer. You have to be able to communicate to, people that might know insurance way greater than you. I like my brain turns off when I read like insurance plans and all that stuff. So we depend heavily on our insurance advisor to make sure that our business insurance and stuff like that is perfect as we adapt, because it changes per situation and stuff like that. So anything to say as far as like hobby to entrepreneurship, because you got that too.
Well, I'll quickly say something funny, because when you were talking about when your brain turns off, my brain turns off for algebra, because I still don't understand why did they put letters next to the number. I just don't get it. But anyway,
Formula.
I don't know. I just don't like it. But for me, creativity is receiving a no and making it a yes for yourself, like creating your own yes.
Yeah.
So that's creativity to me, or just, making something that doesn't exist, or making, yeah. So.
Well, yeah. Well, let's talk.
Again, the no that you got and creating a yes. So you're kind of creating something that doesn't exist for you, but you're making it on your own.
I mean, but on your side is the brain that actually like starts the services when we get these requests, right? And that's kind of like why we're kind of hiring somebody else to kind of like help you with that. But you want to talk a little bit about when like we get a request and you have to kind of like write these contracts and stuff like that and adapt, because I mean we got a crazy good terms and agreement, and it's basically like off of learning over time.
Yeah, I mean,
like
definitely
Ireland.
What happened with that contract? I don't remember. What?
Remember, like as far as like hotel like standards. That and
nothing
stuff.
to do with, okay, yes. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so yeah, we did shoot a wedding in Ireland, and I do all of our contracts. And so I have a baseline contract that I work with, and it's been tweaked obviously hundreds of times. I've actually talked to a lawyer that I worked with at an old job, and who kind of like was like, oh yeah, that's good. Take that out, do this. And Google, I don't know why people don't use Google. Like everything's there, but Google helped too. So we have a baseline agreement. But for the wedding that we did in Ireland, there were some things I didn't put in the agreement that I didn't realize. It was our first international job, where they were paying for the hotel and services, the rental car. They were paying for everything in order to get us out there to shoot their wedding, which was amazing. But I didn't specify what type of things we needed, like hotel. I didn't think, I was like, whatever, hotel, like it's a hotel. Well, I'm not asking for a Ritz-Carlton. I'm not bougie like that, but yeah, I do need, I can't have a twin bed for two people to sleep in. I'm sorry. Like, like not that I would put that in the contract, but like, or we need to stay near the hotel, near the wedding venue. We're very far from the wedding venue. I think it was
like 30 miles.
Yeah. So things like that, just like we need to be within 5 miles of the venue. We need to be in the same or similar accommodations to the bride and groom, like something, or where their family's saying we need. It was just little things that I've changed for our destination events and our agreements. But yeah, it was very interesting. It was.
Yeah, it's a specific way that you actually put that
agreement
it's
in there now. Like, but it was from that trip that I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think of any of this. Like I just.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's like when you're writing a business plan, how are you going to be able to know that at that given time, right?
Yeah, and so it's trial and error for sure.
Yeah, and it's those type of things where you can have a vision of what you're trying to actually do, but over time, I think a lot of people have a hard time and feel like they're not succeeding when they're not just ready to adapt. Like to go forth. We still stayed at the hotel. Like some of the
We
like,
had no choice. What do you mean?
like
I mean, I guess we could have paid out of pocket. We were really
Like,
desperate, but we couldn't book near the wedding venue at such last minute because everything was booked up. Their entire family's out there. All the possible places nearby were probably booked up anyway.
Yeah.
And we were tired. We just got there. So
yeah, it was that, but like, we got there, and all of the gear that we take, we got to,
it didn't barely fit in the room. Yeah, the room was so tiny, barely fit.
The night before,
God.
charging my gear, plugging
there
stuff
was
in the outlet.
The outlets didn't work. Only the outlets in the room did not work. Only the outlets in the hallway, which I don't know why there are outlets in the hallway, but we can't charge very expensive photography gear in the hallway overnight. Like, Jeff had to sit in the hallway with his gear as it charged.
Yeah.
And as long as he could until he was just, I have to go to bed, and he had to bring everything in. Like, it was, I don't even think you could reach the cord, because I think he tried to see if the cord could reach into the room and maybe you could keep the stuff in the room and the cord could be under the door. No.
Yeah. So that was a learning experience as far as we looked at each other like, this terms and agreement. This ain't gonna happen again.
No, because then we picked up the bride and the groom to take them to do some shots around, not Dublin, but just around where the wedding ceremony would be. So some really cool spots. Well, I think it was Cliffs of Moher. Yeah. So Cliffs of Moher is this really beautiful historic place in Ireland, and we took them there for a shoot. But when we picked them up, I was like, well, what is this? What is this hotel?
Dublin or something that we were staying.
I was why aren't we staying here?
So basically the moral of that story is basically kind of when you.
But it was a beautiful. Congratulations, that couple. I think they have kids now. Beautiful. Oh my gosh! Thank you so much for the opportunity. Yeah, it was a great trip.
But you made us learn, and moving forward, and many years that happened to now, it's in our terms and agreement when clients sign that if we're on travel, it's a hotel to the standards that
we need to stay near or at the level of where the family's staying at least.
And we kind of I learned, I forgot to tell you, but I think we already have that in our terms of agreement with food. Food is key.
I had to add that. It's at weddings, not that it's just the photography and the videography crew should eat. If you're at an event that's over 5 hours long and there's a seated dinner involved, the photography and videography team should also get a plate and should also be allowed to sit down for 15 minutes to quickly eat. Mm-hmm. And so that's standard in most agreements for photographers and videographers that do weddings constantly, but we don't do weddings constantly. And I think we learned after the first wedding or two, okay, we need to add that in, because of course the weddings that you did, I feel like they offered y'all food. So that wasn't ever an issue, but I think it was
the type of food.
What do you mean?
The type of the first wedding I ever did, basically I'm out there, doing services, and I was at that time I was shadowing somebody else, right? And it came to time where it was a break time, and I'm like, oh my God, look at this great food. They bringing out filet mignons and all that stuff. So then it's vendors, you going over there to eat, and they gave us cold sandwiches, little cold, I could have swore it was bologna. I was like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? I've been eyeing all of those good
I don't
food.
think I need to add that then.
No,
I don't think I added that it has to be a particular type of food, but I just made it clear that you guys should eat and have that time to sit and eat.
So, but over time and stuff like that. Because
some people don't offer food at all. They're like, you should have brought a fruit bar or something.
Nah, that's if you really think about that, that's not really good for our team and stuff like that. You got
bologna
people.
Sandwich is not good either. I would pass out.
Yeah, you got a whole media team that's basically having all this gear and stuff like that. One of the things I try to tell my team is we're gonna eat good, because we're gonna provide great services and stuff like that. We want to eat the equal food that the guests are eating. I'm sorry, and our clients and stuff like that, they've always respected that, because they know that we're going above and beyond to provide service and stuff like that. And I've joked and I basically said, we do this for the food and
you usually don't eat.
Yeah, it's a
You don't
jitter
ever
thing, but
really
I
eat
try to make sure my
anyway.
team
Yeah, they
is
should
good.
definitely eat. We don't want anyone passing out or
Yeah.
getting sick. And because the night goes sometimes until it's from morning until like midnight
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. So it's just those things where food is key.
And water.
And water. Yeah. And but we definitely prepare ourselves. You know, we have little snacks and stuff like that. But it's just one thing. Another thing that we've learned in business of, you know, just ensuring that, like, you know, if you somewhere for eight plus hours and stuff like that, and you don't eat, and you just holding your gear and they just see you fall back and pass out, then what happens then? Right? You know, then everybody now is focused on
well, that's in the
you,
contract too. We protected all like
so
our team in there. So
but it's just so those are the things as far as like we can ramble on about this because there's more to come as far as hobby to entrepreneurship. And I think she said it perfectly. When I was just having fun and just going with my camera, I didn't have to like really get requirements, right? I was just happy to at the end of the day surprise people with a photo or a video and stuff like that. But now going into and building this off of other people's needs, organization needs and stuff, we have to protect ourselves in our terms and agreement of basically like how we do business is so key and stuff. And like I said, me really focusing on the gear and communicating with the team to kind of like be ready per assignment. You know, Richeen is just great at helping to write those terms and agreement in the wording and that makes sense, and communicating with lawyers and all that stuff. So but yeah, that's been a lot of great talking as far as like what's going on in the world and how we're slowly growing our small business and stuff like that. From it used to just be a fun hobby to now, we're doing it legit, and really growing by, major organizations really reaching out to us.
And then the relationships we make at the events,
For sure.
We met so many amazing people. At every event we do, we always, meet really cool people. Everywhere we go, we always just end up meeting some really great people. Remember our first trip ever to LA? We met your friend on the plane. Yeah. We took
IOB, what's up, man?
IOB photography,
IOB photo booth, that's my man.
But randomly met him on a plane, which was the worst ride ever. Cause we took, what was the airline?
Spirit.
Oh my God. We tried Spirit. This was like 2015 or something.
First time.
And I had my hair out like a fool. It looked like this at first. And then when we landed, it was like crazy. Like it was so big and crazy. And
let me tell y'all something. I smile a lot and I try to be positive a lot. I was so pissed flying Spirit.
We could have flown first class for all that we paid to fly Spirit. Like we could have just flown first class on American or somewhere else, something else.
I think it was like $150 round trip or something.
Yeah, but all the bag fees and you had to pay for snacks if you even wanted snacks. You had to pay for every and anything. Water. I saw this girl paying for ice. It was
really.
This girl paid for ice, y'all. So I'm good. No thanks. And I like Southwest, so I'll just keep on Southwest. And when I make more money, I'll be on something else.
Yeah, I mean, shout out if you fly in Spirit, but like it was one and done for us because it was just like, nah, this I thought but I'm walking in the airport like happy and like 150, man, round trip, man, we about to kill this.
No, you were not walking like that.
I was like, hey, hi. And then by the time I sat down,
it was already arguments before we even got on the plane. People were arguing about like they didn't realize that you have to pay for any bags you bring on the plane, like carry-on bags. You have to pay for that. If it doesn't fit under the seat in front of you, you have to pay for it. Like if it goes over top of your head, you have to pay for it. There was a whole family that had all these carry-ons and they were like really confused, like we can't afford this. Like, what are you talking about? We trying to get on. They're like, no, you got to pay for this before you get on.
Goodness,
it's like,
man.
I was like, you better put everything on your body or something. Put in your purse.
Yeah. So that, wow. I put that historical content out of my brain, but like
eventually I would like to fly a different airline. So I want to pick my seats going forward. One day.
Yeah.
And then one day first class, one day.
Yeah. But yeah, you just now you made me think
I
about
know.
Spirit. I'm like, what the heck, man? My blood pressure up now. You know.
Wait, I
But,
think maybe on Spirit you do pick your seats, but they were terrible. They didn't recline. It felt like lawn chairs.
yeah,
It felt like sitting on lawn chairs.
yeah, yeah. But man, we had 50
But
minutes.
no, if you fly Spirit, that's okay. You're good.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Hey, whatever.
Fly whatever you can afford, but I don't like it. I will just do Southwest.
We good. I drive Uber and as much service as I need. Not to let me stop before.
What?
I'm just saying I'm not flying Spirit again.
No,
you
good.
know, but
No.
you know, but okay. Like I think we're gonna end it with some key things that we start with. But like what song we
Key
vibe?
things.
A key thing.
Okay, you go first. What song are you vibing to?
It ain't no song this time.
Oh.
It ain't no song this time. Let me tell y'all, man, it's been like I said, we haven't done this podcast in about 2 months and stuff like that, but like an album that came out about 2 months ago, Kendrick Lamar, my brother, man.
You know my brother like you.
My brother,
like you know him.
I will know you one day, but I know you through this album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, dude. The whole album, every song, I vibe to. I play it on repeat. Like, I typically I'm not a person that basically like full albums, but there's just something about this. It's I don't know what genre it is, and I'm not hyping this stuff up. I'm talking about this really is my type of music. The way the compositions and stuff like that. The topics that he's talking about, especially, I mean, I think, if you know Kendrick Lamar, basically like he's hitting topics that, that we face in the world and stuff like that. So for this closing this podcast, that's why we wanted to put this in the back as far as like, what we're vibing to, because we're also relating to artists that's kind of like, just really just, like hitting the mark. And for me, Kendrick basically killed it with this new album, and once again, go check it out if you haven't. It's called Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. The name is cool, and once you listen to the tracks and see who he has on it doing collaboration, you'll see how it basically just relates and hits you on different points. So okay, that's who I'm vibing to, and I'm gonna go listen to some more Kendrick after this pod. But like what's up? Who you vibing to?
Well, I almost forgot the name of it, so I was like, let me look it up really quick. But I play this every time in the car. I think the kids are tired of it, but I like it. It's Chloe and Halle, Ungodly Hour. That's like the name of their album. But apparently the album came out in 2020. So I'm late, but the song is called Ungodly Hour. So good. Produced by Disclosure. He produced, guys might know him from the Sam Smith song, Latched. What was it called? Latched or Latch? Anyway, Ungodly Hour, Chloe and Halle. And I really like Chloe a lot. Like, she has a song out called Surprise. These girls are just killing it. They're just, love it.
I just love their vibe and stuff like that. And one of them is supposed to play the Little Mermaid, right?
Yeah,
but the pandemic, I think it was
it's still happening. I saw the trailer for it.
Oh, they already
I saw the trailer for it like a couple weeks ago. But her face wasn't in it. It was like a trailer for the trailer. Okay. I don't know why they did that, but it's a trailer for the trailer. You can hear her singing in it. You don't see her face, and you see her hair, the back of her.
Really?
I'm like, just release it. I want to see the trailer. I want to see what it's going to look like. Yeah, so maybe they're still working on it.
Yeah, I mean,
the kids are going to love that. Ava is really into mermaids. Mm-hmm. And I'm just trying to figure out, she wants to have a mermaid birthday party. I'm like, a mermaid birthday party in October? We don't have a pool, so I don't know what that looks like. If you're a party planner in the DC area and you would like to plan a 5-year-old's, well, she'll be turning 6. If you want to plan her party, hit me up on District Insider at IG, okay? Because I need help. How do you do a like October-themed mermaid party and we ain't got no pool? What are you gonna be doing?
You better put like a blue top down and act the pool.
I don't know how. I can't envision it. So yeah.
Like, she really want a mermaid party?
That's all she wants. I'm like, you sure you don't want like a pumpkin patch? That makes more sense for October. I could do a pumpkin patch on my own, but a mermaid party. I'm like, I guess we can have Ariel come. I don't know. I just don't. It don't make sense.
Ariel gonna be walking
right across the grass. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because where's she gonna lay? Like, I don't know.
Weird.
But
Yeah. But that, hey, you got that. Yeah. I'll just be there with my camera.
Right.
I'll be
Do
there
I
with
have to pay?
No. But okay, that's it for this pod. You got anything else?
No, nothing funny.
Yeah, but hopefully this gave you guys the information and that we had to really just get off of our minds of you know what? It's not even get off of our minds. The one thing about us, we're not sitting and reading the news. We're kind of like being integrated in the fight. And I think that's something I did not plan for this business. I just knew what I wanted to do, how I wanted to make an impact in communities. But the amount of people that continue to refer us and really basically just put us in the mix, and it really basically I really want to thank you guys, and you know who I'm talking about without saying the thousands of names, right? Because our business is growing correctly with purpose, and helping to fight for what we care about. So that's kind of like my closing statement, and kind of like why we sit down and write when we finally have a downtime. And as Richeen always say, I was able to, we dropped the kids to, Mama Dukes. Thank you so much again. But like we want to basically just, be able to express like, how we're living, what makes us happy and stuff like that when we come home. But when we're pushing out as much content to join the fight, right? Join the fight, but also protect our family and educate our family of what's going on, because there's no way we're a media company. We live on our phones, our social media and stuff like that. So we have to be engaged as far as like what's going on. And it's just something that basically like, I'm so thankful for the people that I joined the fight with. And it makes me feel good and stuff like that. So that's my closing statement.
Okay.
You good?
I'm
That's
good.
That's
Yeah.
it? We ending this?
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.